Stella's got a treat over there. I stuck some medicine in it. So anyways, she's chomping away. So hopefully it doesn't bother you too much. But she should lay down and go to sleep. But she was outside on the porch, like whining. And I was like, oh, I'm going to do this. I will just put it on in the morning. Besides, I don't know. Maybe I overwhelm and put too many videos. I don't know. Guys, like I'll put a new one on and it doesn't get like a whole bunch. Nothing really happens too much on it until like the next day. And so, like yesterday's video, it just keeps going like hundreds of people. And I see them change the numbers. And I don't know what they did on the following thing again, how they changed it back to this weird 1.15 when they went with the 1, and then it went to 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4, 1.5, 1.6, 1.7, 1.8. Then when it got to 1.8, it went to 1.08. Then it flipped back to 1.1. Then it switched to 1.11. Now it's going 1.11, 1.12, 1. I think it's on 1.15. I have no idea what they do, but I have sat and looked at things and seen the numbers switch. So I don't know. Hopefully it's all a good sign that things are just going crazy. It seems like it. Like I just saw that there's in Utah, this church lady got denounced, and yesterday Ballard got denounced, and this is his girlfriend, and is talking about the stuff they're involved in and stuff. See, he wasn't the good guy. That was really, to me, it was just the way Trump treated him. Trump is so heartwarming of a person. He is so sweet to people, to complete strangers. So for him to get to meet somebody who is in the forefront of his movement, and for him to just kind of be like, yeah, I thought that was very telling. And, but, you know, I mean, I wouldn't have noticed it if it wasn't already leaking out. I mean, the thing that I think that got everybody's attention was the arrest record in Arkansas or something, which, oh, does not make sense. He probably went in under the Clintons. Because I'm telling you, all this stuff like prisons and stuff, it's like, hey, you listen to her drink, it's loud. It's all like a siphoning system. It's like, it's a way that they look for criminals and stuff like that. So that's funny because I don't know what years his stuff was. I thought it was like 15 years ago. That I wouldn't be surprised at all if it lines up something with Clinton, like for sure. But anyways, so more of that stuff is coming out. There's more stuff with churches and stuff that are going down. And I just saw this girl, and I'm kind of trying to go slow and kind of see if she finishes. Give her a second. And then I'm hoping that she'll just go lay down. She'll first come over here and probably splatter her water face all over me. And then she'll go lay down. But, because I wanted to tell, now I'll forget what I was going to talk about. What was I going to talk about? It's very distracting to me. Well, I'm sure I'll come back to it. One of the things that I was seeing, more disaster stuff, like, gosh, there are so many places under huge disaster problems, you know, like Greece, all sorts of places, Italy, Spain, so many places. I don't even know how many cities, but like China, Japan, Turkey. There's just a lot of disaster. Africa open, like split kind of in half. It was already doing that. And then the map, the new map, it has that. And so they just had a huge split that happened overnight, I guess, unless somebody's showing that old footage, but it seemed like it was new. And like there's a lot of stuff. Everything just seems weird. Like I'll see something and I'll think, oh, that's like a long time ago. And then I'll see people talking about like it just now happened. And it's like, oh my gosh, everything seems so weird. Now she's got to lay here and lick herself. So it's like one noise after another. But I really wanted to get this done because I was like, God, I don't know. I'm not going to have time. And I'm so tired. I have not laid down and shut my eyes at all since this morning. And my eyes are just like totally burning. And I just want to totally lay down and go to sleep. I tried to lay down and then Stella starts having a fit. So I was like, get back up. And so anyways, and then I don't know what time the girl and her friend are going to be here. So I don't know. She knows I got to bed early though. So, okay. So let me think. I wanted to talk about New York. Oh yeah. Okay. So I had just seen a video of, this girl who is a Christian. She was like, I'm a Christian and I pray and all this stuff, but she was talking about the things that got her scared. And, that is and what was another thing? I just saw another thing too, where it was, something, oh, maybe it was just this girl, because she said, I believe in God. And, I was like, see, that's the thing. Is all these people think if you believe in God, there's just this Christian God. They can't understand that no, a Christian rules is like it's weird because they can look at, a Christian can look at it and say like a Mormon or a Catholic or, you know, LDS or something like that. They can sit there and say like, that's just crazy, it's cult and all that stuff. But when it comes to them, they are the one and only. They've got they know it all, and they can't accept at all. And that is the only access to God. You have to go through that gateway into their God, what they say God is and stuff. And so it's all controlled through your spirit, all controlling your spirituality and stuff. So there's so much of that, you know, in this reality, that about the control of how people see themselves and stuff. But you know, just praying, and she's all upset, and it's like none of these people connect with their soul into the soul world, and then they think they're so close to God, but they don't really try and connect to God. All they need is just that little, they just need a label. They just need a label. See, that's the thing, is all these people just need this label, this diagnosis, and then they're satisfied. You know, if they can call themselves a Christian, a God-fearing man, then, and most of them don't at all. They don't fear God. And it's not God you need to fear. It's your own self that you need to fear. And it's your own ignorance and putting things out of balance for yourself. That's your enemy, is yourself. So, but all these people, they don't want to connect to themselves through their spirit. You even start talking about spirit stuff, and they think you're talking about the devil. Everything's the devil. It's demons. It's the devil. It's like, I don't get it. I don't get, like, if you're trying to live, I mean, maybe they just don't see like Jesus's teachings that way. But to me, I don't even follow Jesus's teachings. It's just more of like what my soul tells me. My soul tells me, you know, like we're supposed to work on our soul while we're here. Like it's always talking and telling me stuff. It's always trying to learn. So I don't know. That is, it's weird. It's like they cut that whole side out of themselves when they're claiming to be the most closest to God at all, but they don't spend real time with them. They spend time getting dressed up and go to a meeting room to sing songs and impress everybody and show everybody what great people they are. And it's kind of like a circle jerk or something of everybody just patting each other on the back, and having potlucks and calling themselves such good Christians, but they do weird stuff. Like some of them who go and, they're going to take in these foster kids or adopt these poor kids that don't have any guidance and stuff. And then they're like wacky. It's like they're not really tuned into God's creatures. I just heard this really horrific story a few weeks back by a young girl that exactly happened to. Her and her brother were adopted by a Christian, super Christian family who had some of their own kids. And the whole entire time, they always treated the adopted kids like, in Cinderella, like they were separate. I'm pretty sure they even took their family on vacation and left the two adopted kids home to Disneyland or something real fucked up like that. So I was like, when I was listening to this girl's story, it was like, fuck, how is there people who are just so, do you not have compassion or empathy for another human being? Like, what is wrong? I mean, when I found out that people needed the Bible to tell them not to murder. What the fuck? So, it's like the same kind of thing. You shouldn't need a book or anything. You have it all imprinted in you. It's imprinted on your soul. It tells you the rules of the world, like you go kill somebody, you're going to feel real bad and it's going to have an effect on you. And that doesn't mean that the souls don't come in to play those roles out. And I don't I don't know. I don't know how it all goes. I think it is kind of, it seems like it's like, because this is weird. It's hard to explain because it's kind of like your soul's view into yourself. Like you can't get away from yourself. And so you can't hide from your own truth. You can't trick anybody or anything because it's your own truth. You can't hide from it. And so your intentions when you do something, that is how it is like determines like how you put things out of balance. It's by how you feel, how you are doing it, is like how you see it. So if you have malice in your mind, if you're being malicious and you're trying to get even with somebody, or you're vindictive or angry or something, see, that's in your heart. That's when you carry a burden on your heart, and then that is the energy. So that is when you do things out of malice or bitterness or anger, that is when you put things out of balance. But it's like your soul, it's like a reprimand to itself, kind of. But that is when it is goes out of balance, like karmic debt and stuff like that. And using like overtaking somebody else's energy, that isn't good to do that. That's what a lot of people, there's so many people here now that has so much to do with all these crimes against humanity, like all of this manipulation and tricking and stuff like that is all been over our energy. So it is, I mean, I don't even know that we'll see all the repercussions because it's like spiritual. It's not just in the reality. It is bigger than that. So but this is like a huge expansion. Like this is a huge expansion of this you know, awakening and seeing the truth and growing and all of this. So, but I had seen, um, I don't really even get, like, there's a fuck shit ton of, like, migrants coming somewhere. There's a shit ton that have landed in Europe. They're all over in the streets and stuff, and they're, I guess, coming from somewhere like Africa or something. And all just like, is this like totally set up? Like, this is the strangest thing. Like, to me, when you see all these people coming and they're everywhere in the streets and stuff, it's like, is there any people left in these countries? Did they pay everybody to leave those countries and come to this one? Is it part of it kind of an evacuation that some of these countries are going to go underwater in the cataclysm? Like, it's very strange. And especially in regards to the Nisera Gesera, you know, but I don't know, you know, I guess it wouldn't matter if you were in your country, because we should, it's going to open up more of just free travel anyways, where we don't have to have like citizenship and power. That's all their games. That's all their licensing tax. It's all games so that they can have wars and shit. So when everything is just open anyways, and our money is going to go more as like a direct into our this quantum account or whatever. And so maybe it won't matter where all the people were. I kept thinking, well, maybe they're going to have everybody would go back to their home place to claim their money. Maybe that's what they were going to do. But, you know, now I kind of think it's going to be like, it's more about the freedom of, but the hypocrisy behind all this shit going on. And it's really blown up in New York. Oh my gosh, I've seen a bunch of live footage. It is, they're having huge protests. It is really, really strange too. They have like all of Times Square or something. It's like this whole thing is keeps being live. And so it's really happening. And it's like a giant ass protest with tons of people, but all the people have Mexican flags. Or I'm pretty sure it's Mexican flags. And maybe it's some other country. It's definitely not American flags, and they're all speaking Spanish. And so, you know, but I know some came across from the Caribbean or South America and stuff. So, look, I don't even know. It seemed like to me, it seems like that they're trying to start like a civil war in New York. I kind of got the feeling that they were making such a big show of these people having the wrong flags, and I don't know what they're even, Viva Mexicana, you know, I'm not sure, you know, of what's going on. But the, it seems like they're trying to set up a situation where they're going to say, oh, these racists, these Trump supporters, something like that, came in and shot them all dead or ran over them all or something like that. Like, it's going to try and set up like a situation so that they can make a point. And I think they don't know what to do with all these people anyways. It's absolute chaos. And there's that one guy who was showing the whole thing. You know, like in America, our driving thing and stuff is different. Like, it's very militant, really. Our roads and everything, our speed limits, our speed check, like, it's also ridiculous. But we don't have like scooters buzzing around and stuff like that. Like, there's all sorts of rules to even get your license to be able to have something on the road. Like, they have specific things. Well, New York, I guess, maybe they can't keep up or something. It is just lined with these like scooter kind of, I don't know, all sorts of like little all sorts of little shit. And all those people are like, they're everywhere. They're just driving. They're everywhere. And that some of them have like 3 people on them and stuff. It's like another country. It's like they got these people with all these flags out there, Viva Mexico or something, and then they got all these scooters and shit, all buzzing around the roads, doing circles, doing wheelies and shit. No helmets. I don't know what the helmet law is there. It is it's ridiculous. It's absurd. It's just in the cities are going to get worse and worse, and I think they are going to set up some situations so that they're trying to set up a war. I mean, that shit was coming out even with Manson. Like, he was talking about the setting up the war between the whites and the blacks. I'm sure the CIA and shit were sitting there on the spawn range talking about that shit and telling them, this is what you need to do. Because they got them all strung out on, trying new things, what are they? Like pharmaceutical with they're like a whole nother level. They use LSD and stuff like that. Like, they were trying all sorts of, I don't know, just not just psychedelics, but all sorts of like kind of mind control drugs and stuff. And after the whole crime went down, then they dropped it real quick and ran from the ranch, which is involved with Hollywood and shit. And then they had to have a fall guy. And poor fucking Manson, he was just a little lifetime criminal, like born to a prostitute, started being in prison like when he was 11. A little tiny guy, just got his ass kicked daily. Was probably everybody's little bitch. And finally gets out of jail, meets up with the Beach Boys. And, he just wants to make a singing career. And, he's living out there with all that commune and on that spawn ranch. Because they opened it up, and I'm sure it all had to do with getting out there because they just need test subjects all the time. There's so much testing going on at that time. So, and then, they had to just wash their hands of the situation once there was such horrible murders because, they had these people spun out in their heads. They didn't even know what they were doing. And then they're sitting there, instigating in their minds and stuff. They do stuff. And they talk about this and all the CIA shit and stuff is the programming. Like they make and it is like they're looking for the weakest minds too. But they are always willing to break a mind. And, it's no shame on the people who, with the weak minds because it all has to do with your lessons and stuff. But, we were all born into certain situations. And, you may have had really ignorant parents who never paid attention to anything. You had no idea this was going on or that was going on. Because you were supposed to go through this experience now. I was even thinking, if I lose this house again, if they take this one from me, which I feel like the odds are in my favor that the banks are about to go. I just saw another thing saying something, all the Airbnbs are closing or something. There's like about to be a huge crash. Something about all of them are upside down because I don't know. Still, please stop it. But there just keeps being one financial thing after another. So I feel like, it's pretty good odds that I'm not going to lose the house. But if that's in the cards, if that's what's supposed to go down, then that's what's supposed to go down, I've definitely put that energy out a lot of times, saying I want a bigger place. I don't want to be next to people. I definitely don't feel like I'm in my, my vibe area or whatever. And that just became really clear just during quarantine. Just the fact that I got kicked off of the neighborhood platform right away. And I've been even more isolated, not knowing people and stuff. It's just like, this is just not my jam. So, but, I kept seeing it as a business. I put so much work into it and stuff. But, yeah, there's just things that you just can't hold on to them, You can't get all caught up because Even when things go, there's always things that come that replace them. There's always things, you know. Whatever's going to happen is your experience. It's what's supposed to happen. It's what you're supposed to experience. And because there was more stuff in New York. There was, I was just thinking about, there was something on that $100 bill or something where they're showing this big event that's going to happen in New York, and somebody was just talking about that, putting it together with some kind of date. And so I don't know. I know a lot of people are expecting shit to be going down. I think the penny burgers already started, I think, because today's the 17th. Tomorrow's going to be the 18th. And then the 19th is supposed to be some significant thing. And there's so much stuff going on with the politics and stuff. Like, I just, the news, or I guess there's more arrests. So I don't even know what about the Russell Brand thing. Like, fuck. But they do that kind of stuff because even on the Michael Jackson one, there's such specific stuff. And that's supposedly all made up to control him. Like, they make up such severe stuff to control these people. And so, fuck, it's hard to, especially it's so coincidental, it's right when he's speaking out and they're trying to put, a lock on him so they can't talk about certain things because he has a big platform, and that's what they don't like. This is their biggest fear. And, apparently no matter what, because they were trying to do everything they could to stop this from happening. And it was impossible. It's impossible. That's the hand of God. That is cycles. You cannot stop what was always going to happen. And this awakening is always going to happen. It's a part of, it isn't a huge expansion. It's all the changing of the ages. This is going to be like this very big changing of the ages, like fireworks. This is big because, we are actively working to ascend and elevate ourselves with the universe, like it's like riding this wave. And so, we're like I had said, it's like we're a bunch of surfers jumping onto this energetic wave that we're going to ride. And so it's, it's a really big thing, the ascension, this wave of ascension. But they were trying to stop it, which is impossible. You can't stop. They think that they can control things, I think, because they tell us, like, because they're controlling the moon and the sun. I don't know what the fuck is going on. I think there's like more than one moon and sun. I think this shit is so Truman Show. I think we have no idea how we move around, no idea how the land masses really are laid out, that how we travel is completely made up bullshit thing. It's weird, the whole thing. Just the whole thing where the planes were all going straight over through the middle, and now all of a sudden they're way over there. There is something weird. The whole firmament thing is getting lower. There's the weirdest fucking cloud things in the sky. I don't even know what the hell. It's just the white puff things that go out, but then they go with all of these waves, and it looks like several different waves up there. It's not just all of them going in one wave. It's got several different waves. So I don't know. Is this all this convergence going on? Whatever it's going to be, they couldn't stop it no matter what, because this is really happening. We are really moving into this quantum phase. Humanity has proven itself to evolve. It's evolved. It's been an evolved experience of growth. And so now it gets like the graduation. And so, there's no stopping it. It's like a marked event. It's written. And so, and it's been so prophesized. Like, this was written a long time ago. So it is going to happen, and they can't stop it. And a part of it is the Jubilee. A part of it is this collapsing of all these systems. It's, humanity is like starting over. beginning again, us writing our own stories. And so it's big changes on the planet, in our whole social dynamics. It's everything is going to change, but not everybody is there for the change. And so that is where there's going to be this. Stella, please just lay down. Let me finish this. When she gets so dramatic like this, I have no idea what's bothering her. So sometimes I think it's on purpose. Not her doing it, but something bothers her to purposely bother me so that I can't keep my thoughts straight. So, rubber with my foot. Sometimes that just makes her happy because they use their feet for everything. So if I use my foot, she doesn't get offended if I rub her back with my foot. She's like, okay, it's cool. We'll see how long it lasts. But, okay, so, let's see. Okay, so, yeah, they couldn't stop what was to come. Like, you know, if they can stop God, like, they can stop the universe from, that's how these people are wacky, man. But they thought that they could stop everybody from waking up, which they can't. It's happening. It's consciousness becoming aware of itself in its experience. It's like the veil coming off. It's like seeing the truth, understanding who you are, seeing yourself in the game for the first time, just like in Free Guy. And so it is, all those things are set. Like, we're definitely headed for that future. How we get there, how it all plays out, that's the part that is unclear. You know, it's the part where you got to trust, like, you know, it's going to be okay. Everything's going to be fine. But it still is stressful, you know. It still is, you know, just the house thing. Now I keep, every car that drives by, it's like, oh, is this, you know, the vultures keep closing in. And I don't know, it just feels kind of uncomfortable and exposed or something. But it's supposed to go down the way it's going, you know, the way it goes down. And I keep seeing these different videos and stuff. I have a lot of questions to ask the lawyer and to see what kind of things we can do. And I'm going to ask him too. You know, I'm going to try and find out if he's a human rights lawyer because, like, yeah, I don't think very many of them understand what's going on. I think the cops don't understand. I guess there was some ambush. There's going to be more and more of that, more and more of these ambushes. And there's going to be, I bet you they'll start having, you know, doctors leaving hospitals and get ambushed. There's going to be so much anger and aggression coming out on certain people. And everybody wants to be blaming somebody. And so, so there's going to be senseless, tragic stuff. And, you know, that's where you just got to keep reminding yourself it has to do with the soul things. Oh, yeah, because what I was going to say, like, if I were to lose this house again, I was like, well, maybe in a past life I took everybody's houses. Maybe I was a real bitch ass. Maybe I was a debtor and I just take people's houses and didn't give a fuck. And so now I get to experience loss over and over and over. I don't know. You know, I got to see how it plays out. You know, I have no idea what all my soul's got going on. And they don't tell you everything the whole time. Like, there's a lot of, it's a need to know kind of situation. But they're always giving you signs. They're trying to help you through the situations. But they're not going to sit you down and give you a briefing each week and tell you what to expect. No, it's way more about you learning to trust that side, that spiritual side, that universe side, that guide side, you know, trusting your own self side. So, you know, there's that kind of what you're working on all the time. Like, to me, anyways, like, I don't know how everybody else lives. Like, they could just be working on their manifesting $1 million. But to me, it is, you know, it's like spiritually becoming more relaxed, more tuned in, more allowing, more noticing, more responsibility. Like, it is just this morphing, this evolving. And so it is, but it's something I think about all the time. Like, it's, like I said, I've been living my life like that since, fuck, a long time ago. Because leaving the church, coming out and telling my parents and stuff, like, no, I'm not Christian. I don't believe in that stuff. My mom, like, had a fucking heart attack. I'm gonna go to hell. I heard that so many fucking times. She finally got me to get, what is that, when I lived in Colorado. I was like 24, 25. I was always looking for that spiritual connection. And we had this little church and this little young preacher and his wife, and we were all friends and stuff. And we're going to that church. My mom got me to get baptized, because I can't even tell you how many times I heard about that. Like, even recently. Well, you were baptized. So, okay, I don't have to worry about you because you were baptized. Like, she really thinks that that's gets you in the pearly gates. Just those special words. That's all you gotta do. You can go mass murder. And their opinion is, well, no man is without sin. Like, how can you say that that's not okay, that he can't sit with God? It's like, well, it's an attitude. It's like, what? It is shady as shit. Like, but to me, my spiritual journey started like when I was younger than that, because I always had these spirits talking to me. So I don't know what else to call it. If you're always sitting there, in telepathy, talking to these spirits about shit, and they're telling you about, look, the purpose of life and what we're doing here and stuff like that, then, I don't know what else to call it. So that started when I was young. Because, I don't know, I guess I could say it started when I was 3 then, because that's when they first started making me pick between good and evil, make choices over which direction I was going to go. And so, I don't know, it just has been my life. So, other people, I guess, like, I don't know what other people think about. I just know what I think about. And so I'm always thinking about stuff like that. I think about deep stuff that annoys people, apparently. So, anyways, yeah, the New York thing, it seems like they're trying to start some kind of civil war situation over there. Some sort of an instigated big mass thing that, and then plus there's something, I don't know. I don't, ugh, who knows? I mean, are they handing out the burgers to these people and then they're going to do something or turn something on, and then, you're going to have a bunch of flesh eaters out there? Confirmation. I don't know. It just gets weird. It's weird. It's weird to see all this footage of New York. And then they're having these huge protests too. And there was, I saw like a Trump, what are those things called? Maybe they're called Trump trains, when all those cars drive with each other and then they all have Trump flags. They were having one of those in New York too. So they've got a lot of action going on in New York. That wackadoo mayor, oh, that's what they were having a big protest about too. The people want her out. Like, she's whacked, man. She's making all sorts of wacky shit. So it is the mayor lady, and they are all fed up with her. But, they are trying to turn it into a big camp. See, they want to create this big chaos, or bring in some storm or some kind of event. Like, what was the one? Oh, Alaska. Alaska. This person, it was their footage. Because they said this happened in my town last night, or today. It was, when she was doing it. And so I looked down at the bottom and it said it was in Alaska, and so it's on a river, and it floods, and as it's going, it's just tearing down the forest. They're just tearing trees down. The trees are just tearing down and going. And then it goes around this one water thing and starts tearing down a building. And there was, I don't know if it was Turkey or it could have been China or Japan, like any of these places. But there was buildings that looked like they were being blown up. They didn't look like it was an earthquake. The way they were falling, it just reminded me so much of like, you know, that date in New York when the buildings fell. When you see them, how it goes down like that, it doesn't make sense. As an earthquake should shake it and make it go real unstable and make things start falling off, and not just go down like that. So, you know, but somebody was saying that the moves, like this chess game going, like they're already backed in the corner. They already have lost. And plus, I think so many people have gone down. Like, there's supposed to be a big arrest that's going on right now, a big Hollywood one, and that is going to be a big door opener to a lot of stuff. And so, if that is, like, I don't know. It's supposed to be, this guy was talking about, this is, he said he was just reading all this stuff, and he said he couldn't even stand to read it. It was so disgusting. He said it's way worse than Harvey Weinstein, and it is all young actresses, A-list actors, and then, you know, and it was, I don't know, he's a director or producer, but, you know, these people who have power. What was it? Oh, yeah. We were watching, they had turned on Basketball Diaries the other day at my daughter's house. And I was like, oh, I didn't remember it really. And now, you know, I can't even barely stand to see Leonardo DiCaprio. It makes me sick to my stomach. It's just, I just feel so sad for him. Ugh. He was such like that young little pretty boy, and he was getting manhandled from such a young age. And there's so many of these parents, and it's weird how some of these parents are from cults, from these weird religion things. That's not by coincidence. It all fucking goes together. He probably got them off of, because he's sure fucking weird how he looks like River Phoenix in it. And then he's, and they're both from these cults. So, I don't know, there's shady shit going on with the whole fucking thing. But then to just let him be treated like little boy toys, you know, and just let him be manhandled like that and stuff, where I guess he's so broken he can't even be in a relationship or anything. He can't, I don't know, it's just, it broke him. You know, that's what they do to all these people. They break their minds. They fuck with them and bug with them. But now when I see him in a movie, it just makes me sad. And so this one, and he's young in this one, and it was a bunch of young guys, and it's supposed to be, I think, a guy's story. So it's supposed to be like this true story, but there is so much stuff where it was like, okay, this is like a low budget movie where pervy guys paid to have it, but then they said, oh, you know, I want them in their underwear. There's certain things that it just is like, there's just so many of these movies with young people in it. I mean, to me, when they started doing that show on HBO, Euphoria, that is like fucking a porn. I won't even say it's softcore porn because I think it is pre-hardcore. And it is all supposed to be people who are under 18. It's all supposed to be high school students. It's all about the fantasy. And then and how far they push and push and push. And people just accept. And then if you try and say something, like I try and say something to my kids or something, oh, you're just old-fashioned. I can't believe what a prude you've become as you've gotten older. It's like, I'm not a prude, but I definitely don't need hardcore porn shoved down my goddamn throat. Like, if you can't see, there's an agenda behind this movement. It is to just desensitize, you know, just accept whatever, you know, do whatever. Because the more whatevers you do, the more, how can you say anything to anybody? They just want this like moralless society. Nobody to have any morals, no scruples, no ethics. Just it's a free for all. Go on impulse, do as many drugs as possible, just Burning Man this whole goddamn place up. So it's, and that Burning Man thing, they really showed the dark side of them too. I mean, just starting their whole thing, and they're going to run over these people who are boycotting or picketing them, or what is that called? Like, not just picketing them, doing that whole like stand down, blocking the road, won't let them go by because of the environment. They're going to do so much destruction on the environment. And then they get those women arrested by tribal police by saying they are waving guns and threatening them and stuff. So they get totally assaulted by these cops. And there's all these old women, and they're screaming. It's really sad. And then those people just barrel in there. And then the storms, they came together and did their drugs together and stuff like that. And then the stuff that was left there, so the playa, I guess it's called, where they go, is, oh my God, it's such a mess. It's so gross too, because people just go to the bathroom in jugs and all sorts of stuff. Go to the bathroom and all sorts of stuff and then just leave it. There was all these dumpsters where they would stop on their way out and just dump all their trash off. And when the dumpsters were full, they just left it all in parking lots and stuff everywhere, all these little towns. And they have their whole thing about whatever they bring in, they take out with them. And then they just left garbage everywhere. And they left those poop and pee bottles and stuff everywhere. It was gross. It was like, oh my God. And these are, don't forget, yeah, these would be the people who, were out there telling us what you need to wear these, you got to do this. And I don't know if they've had a change of heart, I noticed when I would listen to a lot of the spiritual people and a lot of these people who are all about, just do a lot of plant medicine and that's your spiritual awakening and stuff like that. It's so much more than that. It's like a daily way you live your life. It's a different attitude. It's like living through your heart. It's like actually walking the path as Jesus tried to lay out, it's the path to enlightenment. So, I don't know. All people need is a fucking get high and get a label and they're good. They don't need anything deeper. Those people I knew, because I noticed that in 2020 when I was watching tarot things, so many of them, they would have this, and they're very worried about not getting pronouns or all that kind of stuff. Like, they're very much a part of the progressive movement, the transhumanism movement, the, give up all our rights movement. We don't need rights. We don't need food. I don't know where the lines are going to be drawn to them, because now it's going to go even further. I sent my daughter a thing the other day, and I said all this human DNA is being found in all of these Beyond Burgers, Impossible Burgers, and shit like that. And it's finding all of this human DNA has been fine. They're finding everything. They've been feeding us the goddamn Soylent Green for a fucking while. And as she watched that one, and she was like, oh my God, that's so disgusting. I said, see, that's why I say don't give me one of those burgers. Just get me a big old mushroom. Because you can make those mushrooms, the big giant ones, at the store. Well, we're not going to have stores like that soon. I don't know how it's all going to go down. I mean, the corporate, there's something coming out right now. There's a big class action suit against all the airlines, and they have to pay out a huge amount of money. And as soon as that opens, there's going to be, look, most of us, if you've traveled, we can all be a part of this class action suit because of their price gouging. That's how the corporations work. That's how they took down the mom and pop shops, and then they could control, they own everything, so they control the cost. That's how they inflate the cost. It's all part of their little games. They're little bullshit. And so all the airlines now got busted on the price gouging, and they lost the lawsuit. And so now I guess Delta and United just got turned over, and they had tried to appeal it or whatever, and it got thrown out. And so it's supposed to go through, and it's like a lot of money. And anybody who traveled on any of those airlines between like 2008 and 2011 or 2000, I don't know the years, you'll have to look it up, but it's those kinds of things that are going to be bankrupting. Like there'll be lawsuits. Fuck. I bet you there's going to be, I bet you they've already started class action lawsuits on the food at Walmart. All these different things are going to take down the corporations. They're like the pharmaceutical companies, they're trying to get these shell companies to cover their asses, and they all try and, just move things around so that they always have themselves covered and hidden. But the lights come in, there's no more hiding, and for those of us who are there to speak out about it, we don't care about looking crazy. We've been crazy our whole lives, so it's like, call me crazy. Like, come up with a new one. But it gets old. I know it does get old. I know it really burns a lot of people out, just constantly being called crazy, especially, when it's the people who just don't see shit and they're the ones calling you crazy. I just feel sorry for them, because I just think like how much that's going to hurt, especially when I know this is all about ego stuff, and that's going to be a big pain in the ego to be so tricked and stuff. So I feel bad for a lot of the people who aren't awake yet. I don't, I wish that they would hurry and wake up. I don't know, I don't think we have to wait for them all. There's going to be something that is going to start happening, and we'll turn. And I really, it seems like to me, the money thing, because I think the money thing is a big thing. They've got to have it go under Joe. So the money thing has to go before they take Joe down. They can't take Joe down and then have the money go down. They could, but it has to go so fast because they have to blame it on Joe. It has to be under his administration. That's a part of the whole thing. It's a part of like probably the keep the peace movement, because all of us will be like, oh man, that motherfucker. Like, we knew he was bad. It's going to be a totally different kind of energy, because there's going to be a lot of chaos and anger about things. I mean, just for a group of people to go up and ambush some cop just in his car. But that's the thing too, is like these cops, they don't realize the sides are picked, dude. You're picking the wrong side. You can't pick man's law. You got to pick human rights. You've got a choice to make. You got to go with the human rights. That's where we're headed to. And if you're going with the other, then you're going to suffer a higher consequence, because that's going to be like the Nuremberg trials. It's going to be a big, giant thing. People are going to be held accountable for their choices, what they did. And it goes down to your soul level, because they're trying to get people to wake up to and use their discernment and think for themselves. But people are going to be held responsible for their choices. There's not going to be any like, well, I'm just following orders, where people are trying to use that excuse, I was following orders. It's not going to matter. You're going to be held responsible for your choices. There's not going to be like, it's just that whole victim mentality. We're moving out of it, and it's going to be harsh. We're going to be seeing some harsh shit about it to really wake us up, to really impact us, to really see like, oh, yeah, we got to think for ourselves. We got to hold ourselves accountable. We got to hold ourselves responsible for ourselves. We can't, no matter if it's wacky, no matter if you think wacky stuff, it's your thoughts. It's okay. It's your perspective. It's your things. So it doesn't matter if everybody else thinks it's wacky. None of that matters. But you have to get comfortable with your own self and not, pleasing everybody. Everybody is so worried about, being laughed at or being bullied or being made fun of, and you got to get over that part. You got to be just like, It doesn't matter. And plus, just get to the point of seeing like everybody's fucking broken. Everybody's broken. How can you be all upset because, you know, uh, uh, kind of like a mental cripple is laughing at you? I mean, they don't know what else to do. They're just broken. So there's so much healing that has to go on, so much healing for all the different people, individuals, but it's our whole society has to do a giant healing. And I think that the tribunals and stuff are going to kind of guide that kind of healing society, like moving us through this really trying time, these really hard discussions and stuff, facing really dark stuff and getting to that point of healing it, you know, like walking us kind of as a collective through the steps, the stages of releasing what the past was. So I think they'll kind of make it like the tribunals or however it will be a way to process. They'll just kind of walk us through the process. But we'll all be kind of walking each other too. But it's going to be such a big thing in all of society, kind of globally, because it's been a global epidemic of these people who have been taking over this whole time. They've been creating third world cities, and then, you know, they've gone around the world destroying cities, and they start building this whole, you know, America, making their droid white people, and then and now they're out to destroy their own place. So it's just like this constant siphoning and weeding down and just trying to get their people that they have the most control over. And it's all this siphoning, you know, with their social passport or whatever, all that kind of stuff is the way to see, you know, who will do what they're told, who will follow orders, you know, and just like all these cops and so many cops come from the military where they are taught to not question authority. They're taught to follow orders and stuff. It's going to come back and bite them. In the military, we also have that whole thing because that is like splitting away from, it's like the government and the military have split apart. Like they're not together. So I think that there's even military arrests that have been happening. I think Congress, all of those people have been arrested and have been gone because all that stuff has been empty. Everything in DC, people who are on the boots on the ground on DC, a whole bunch of different ones too. It's not just like one. Everything is empty. There's no cars or any of that stuff. It's all a show. Wherever, you know, whatever movie studio or whatever they do all these press conferences and all this stuff, and they pretend they're at the White House, and, you know, Nancy's out there making the rounds, you know, because she's gonna go out there. It's so absurd too. These old fuckers who do such a bad job, and they make it so clear they don't need our vote. They just, you know, they get to stay in until as long as they can. Like they're just placed over and over and over because it's all about keeping secrets. It's about covering up crimes and stuff. So I don't know what big show is going to go on about that. Is it just, you know, to get people like talking about on social media so they can kind of monitor and see like, okay, the majority of people feel like this. The majority of people feel like that. Because they do monitor all of our conversations and stuff on social media. Because they are like trying to read the barometer of our society to try and figure out when is going to be the appropriate time to be the least combative, the least violent. And it's the fuck. I mean, it seems like to me, New York is just like on the verge. I don't even know what Chicago, there's like a few different places. There is in Michigan, in Detroit, there's more car plants shutting down. And I saw a woman talking about it, and she said, you know, when you guys hear that kind of stuff on the news and you hear these different big giant plants are shutting down, you don't really get how much it impacts everything. Like everybody loses their job. Everything shuts down. So nobody goes to the store, like everything just changes. And they keep doing that. That is how they control us, is through money. And people keep on thinking that they need some money and stuff so bad. No, you got to let go of the money. You got to let go of that control that their money has over your mind, because it's not real. It was just a way that they could use to control us. We're going to go back to real money, though, when we go back onto the gold thing, whatever else is. And I was thinking I was going to buy some more silver. So I think, I'll buy some more silver, unless everything crashes real quick, like go see. But first I got to go see how much it's going to cost for a lawyer to do this paperwork, see what paperwork can be done, see what the lawyer says. Then I got to kind of just watch the temperature of the climate of our society and the banking system and see how that's going. I need to find out from him, like the different dates and stuff, like what different things, that I need to be paying attention to. Like, is this gonna, all of a sudden they're gonna pull up in November with cops and say, get out, and try and make me move out in the middle of a snowstorm or something. And I don't like people to have control over me. It really bothers me. I've never liked it. And so I gotta, check on that. But I was thinking I'll buy some more silver. And then the other thing, I think I will just get some stuff and close in that shed at my mom's, and I'll just stay out there for the winter. Stay out in that shed, and, if I get kicked out like that. And I'm supposed to go there and babysit next month. I could also just look for a little apartment over by my daughter's. But the other thing I keep thinking about is like, oh man, do I try and move all of my furniture, before winter? Try and move it over there? Because I guess I could. And everything is, that's the stuff where my mind is like going all over the place, because now this thing has, hopefully talking to the lawyer, I'll get more peace of mind. I'll get more like an idea. And then hopefully, the biggest hopefully is goddamn banks crash over the next week. And then who knows? I mean, is the 22nd, are we going to have some meteor shower? Is it going to be some giant kind of thing that's going to happen? Oh, yeah, because this military thing, I'm getting a call. This military thing was saying, I should go answer this. Okay, so I'll just put this on, and I will talk to you later. Bye.